As I was listening to your recent podcast, I thought that of a few topics you could discuss that would be good and helpful for your young guys who want to join the military and go special ops. I know that buds and other training are just baseline entry level schools, but in my experience, those stories are what get guys excited and fired up.
So, guy wants to hear about bud stories and what it's like going through those stories, through those types of training, because it gets people excited and fired up. Well, there's actually kind of a reason why I don't sit around and talk about BUDS, which is basic underwater demolition SEAL training. There's a reason I don't sit around and talk about it a bunch. One of those reasons is because BUDS is not the SEAL teams at all, and it doesn't mean anything. And I try and say that as often as I can, because I don't want people to get the impression that the SEAL teams is the little initial training that is barely even a fraction of your career in the SEAL teams, and it has nothing to do with what you actually do when you get in the SEAL teams. I also don't want, and this isn't intentional, this is more of a response to the question, but I don't tell stories to get guys fired up to join the military about BUDS, because that isn't what the SEAL teams is. That's not what an SF-ODA team is. That's not what Ranger Battalion is. Ranger Battalion and SF is not the selection course that you go through to get into them. That's not what the job is. And you shouldn't be joining the military and shouldn't be trying to get into special operations because you want to do that training. You should do the training because you want to do the job. You want to do the actual job of being in special operations and being in special forces and being in the Rangers and being in MARSOC and being in the SEAL teams. You should want to do that job. And if you want to do that job, what it really boils down to isn't running or rucking or pull-ups or swimming or any of that crap. It boils down to whether you have the two wills that I talk about that war is determined by. And that is the will to kill, because that is the entire premise of your job. If you're in the military at all, you may be somehow supporting that if you're in the military, but the ultimate goal of the military is to kill the bad guys. And if you're going to be in special operations, you're going to be on the tip of the spear of that. So you absolutely have to make sure that you have the will to kill. And you also, obviously, if you're going to join special operations or you want to be in the SEAL teams, you have to have the will to die. Not that you want to die, not that you want to be a martyr, not that you're freaking suicidal or anything like that, but you absolutely have to make sure that you have the willingness to die. And I would say put your life on the line, but no, I'm going beyond that. I'm talking about the willingness to die. Because if you join special operations, or you join the SEAL teams, or you join any of the combat arms in the Army or in the Marine Corps, you will be asked to put your life on the line. And you got to be ready to do that. You got to have that will. You got to be ready to make that commitment. And I mean, the training, if you have that will to kill and you have that will to die, the training, run, swim, do push-ups, do pull-ups, dips, sprints, do rope climbs, do flutter kicks, all that stuff is the easy part. And so if you're sitting there and you see SEAL training on TV and you think, oh, that'd be cool, don't think about that as what being a SEAL is, because it is not. That is just the selection. It's just the weeding out of the weak. If you want to be a SEAL, it means you want to be a commando. It means you want to go into harm's way. It means you want to meet the enemy on the field of battle. That's what being a SEAL is. And that's why I really don't sit around and tell Bud stories. I don't think I have too much more to say about that one. I'm sure at some point there's funny things that happen in Buds, of course, but there's just, compared to like what happens in a SEAL platoon, they're just no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting how you put it. Don't do it because you want to go through that training.
Yeah.
Do it because you want to do the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake. Maybe I can help some people out that are out there right now thinking, oh, I'd really like to go through that training. Mm-hmm. No, don't do it to go through the training. Do it because you want to do that job.
Yeah. Is it true they take a pin and they stick it in your skin and clip it or pin it on your skin? Is it true they do that?
Well, when you get your trident,
yeah,
it has like 3 little prongs that go out the back of it to stick it onto your uniform. Mm-hmm. And when you get your trident, they put it like into your skin. Yeah, it's
like you're standing there with no shirt. They're like, oh, like
yeah, and then they like punch it in, and then everybody. When I got my trident, the whole team lined up, and everyone punched you right in the chest until you're just bleeding everywhere and a big bruise on your chest.
Yeah.